Christy. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to card 9 in my 2016 holiday card series. Today I'm going to be using this cute set from Pretty Pink Posh called Winter Wonderland, as well as the Snow and Cocoa 6x6 by Crepe Paper. So many cute designs in this pad. And I'm going to start with my Copic Coloring today, so I'm beginning with this igloo, and for that I'm going to use BG11 and BG10, and I'm just trying to give it a frosty look as if it was made of ice, as igloos are. So I'm just tracing all the blocks and then doing some extra highlights around the edges. First in the BG11 and then blending out with the BG10. And I also decided to color the door as if it was made of ice. I wasn't sure at the beginning which way I was going to go, but I decided to go with the ice look. And I'll just use my colorless blender to blend that out a little bit more and make that transition really smooth. For my penguin, I'm going to use C3, C5, and C7. And because it's a small area, I'm going to go ahead and do darkest to lightest. I don't want to oversaturate the paper and have bleeding. So I'm just laying in a few shadows, mostly under his wings, around the bottom of his body, and then also towards the back of his head so it'll look more rounded. And then just blending out with the C5 and saving the C3 for that portion right on his forehead to keep it nice and bright. Skipping over to my little Eskimo child, I'm going to use E55 for the shadow right under her hairline, and then I'm going to blend that out really well with the E53. And then I'll blend in a little R20 onto her cheeks so that she looks nice and rosy, since it's very cold in this little scene we're creating for her to live in. For her hair, I'm using E44, E47, and E49, and I'm just adding some streaks. I'm not going to blend any of this out. I'm just going to keep adding streaks, going from lightest to darkest and then back down to lightest again. Just trying to make it look a little more natural. Hair is not something that I am an expert at by any means. It's definitely something I still need to work at. I'm also going to use that E44 and the E47 for her little boots. Just adding my shadows with the E47 and then blending back out. Now that our penguin's body has dried, I can go on to his little belly. I wanted to add a little bit of a yellow accent. So I started out with the Y000 and then laid in the YR23 and the YR21, and then I'm going to go back over that with the Y000 to just blend that out so that it's a lot softer and just more concentrated towards the bottom of his belly. And I will also take my colorless blender at the top there. For my polar bear, I'm using W3 in my shadows. And then I'm going to grab my W1 and blend that out a little bit. And then that line was still a little too harsh, so I grabbed my W00 and just blended it all nice and soft. For the little girl's parka, I'm using B93, B95, and B97. And because this is a little bit of a larger area, I am doing lightest to darkest. So I started out with the B93 and just kind of laid in where I wanted my shadows to be, and then I'll go ahead and darken those up with the B95, just drawing those out a little bit, and then I'll go on to the B97 as my darkest shade. And then once I had that out, I decided that it still wasn't quite the color that I wanted. I wanted to match more of a navy blue on my pattern paper, so I did add in the B99. And that gave me the depth that I was looking for. I also colored her tiny little pant legs in with the B99 since they were going to be in complete shadow under her parka. And then I just finished blending back out in the reverse with the B97 and then the B95, and then just finishing everything up with the B93 on my last little bits of highlights. I'm going to use the RV14 to color in her little mittens and the little ruffle on her pant legs, and then I'm going to use it for the top little triangles on her parka, and I'll use the BG13 for the bottom triangles. And I'll finish up my penguin with YR07 for his beak and feet. For my background, I've got a piece of MFT's Snow Cone cardstock die cut with the Avery L Finish Frames dies. This is the smaller of the two. And I'm going to take these 5 snowflakes that were included in the set, and I'm going to ink them up with some Color Box white pigment ink and stamp those out all over the background. And I could leave those as is, but they would probably dry and fade a little bit into the cardstock. So to keep them bright white, I'm going to take some white embossing powder and I'm going to sprinkle that all over top. And that pigment ink is going to hold that embossing powder in place so that I can heat set that with my heat tool. Then I'm going to take this Lawn Fawn plastic flamingo ink and I'm going to ink up my sentiment, "You Warm My Heart," and I'm going to stamp that down on a snowbank die cut with the Lawn Fawn Stitch Hillside Borders dies. And now I can put together my little scene. So I'm going to adhere my snowbank down to my focal panel with some Tombow Mono multi-glue. Then I can add my little igloo over on the right, and that's going to sit a little bit off the snowbank, but that's alright because I'm going to cover it with my little Eskimo girl right here. And I'm going to add my little polar bear to the left hand side, and then I'm going to take my penguin and I'll put him between the polar bear and the igloo. That way I don't have 2 white images side by side. They're broken up with a little bit of color. My card base is another piece of that MFT Snow Cone cardstock, and I've die cut my pattern paper with the larger of those 2 Avery L Finish frames. And I really like this kind of Aztec print. I think it's going to go really well with her parka. So I'm just going to glue that down with a little more Tombow Mono. And then I can take my focal panel and add some foam adhesive to the back. This is the Scotch 3M foam tape. And then I'll just pop that up right over in the center of my card. Add a little sparkle. I'm going to grab my Spectrum Noir clear glitter brush pen and add a layer of that to the igloo. And then just to a couple accents here and there. So the little nose and feet of the penguin and the little accents on the girl's parka and her gloves and the ruffles over her boots. And then just to the polar bear's nose because he needed a tiny touch of it too. To finish things off, I'm going to grab a couple of these 4mm sparkling clear sequins from Pretty Pink Posh, and I'm dipping those in a little bit of Ranger Multimedia Matte, and then using my Pick Me Up tool to add those to the centers of all the snowflakes. And that is going to complete our card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you're enjoying this entire series so far. So leave me a comment if you are. I've been reading every one and really appreciate them. I'm including a bonus video at the end here. This was one of my favorite cards from last year's series, so I hope you'll enjoy that. And again, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.